Have you ever played a mission that filled you with such an overwhelming sense of purpose and understanding that it changed the very way you played the rest of the game? Once you finished the mission, you sat there just staring at the screen and just said, "Damn, that was pretty good." That's what it's like playing Halo Reach, specifically Exodus and New Alexandria. Halo Reach, as a whole, is not just an amazing campaign, but an amazing story. A real Shakespearean tragedy. From the beginning, you know the end. So, in other words, Reach ran so Rogue One could walk. Halo Reach, for many people, has some of the best characters, designs, and missions. Now, like my last video about Halo, this is all subjective, but bear with me while I talk about, in my opinion, the best missions in Halo Reach. Exodus and New Alexandria truly are a Part 1 and Part 2, a self-contained moment in Halo Reach's campaign where you step away from being the badass Spartan and move into a more grounded civilian perspective. I mean, you are still a badass Spartan, but if you saw how I was fighting some of the Covenant, you'd probably consider me a civilian in a suit of power armor.
I was totally calm in that scenario, like... Holy shit, dude. I thought there was only one! What the fuck?
We all know how Exodus starts. I don't want to explain too much of the mission because I imagine most people watching this video have played or seen Halo Reach enough to know what I'm talking about. I mean, the game came out 15 years ago. Fuck, I'm old. Anyway, some things I noticed from my playthrough of this mission recently. After the badass beginning cutscene, we walk into the map boardwalk and see a whole plethora of bodies. This is the type of stuff I love from Bungie's environmental storytelling. 343 has some really good environmental storytelling, specifically in Halo Infinite, but that's a video for another time. This moment here is beautifully tragic. All these bodies, the bags on the ground, the positioning of the half-open door, it tells so many potential scenes, not explicitly telling you what happened, but letting you figure out on your own with your own headcanon. Maybe the skirmishers that are up the stairs came from behind the civilians and that's why they're standing there as you get closer. Maybe they opened the doors and the civilians couldn't get away in time. Something heartbreaking I noticed when playing recently. For the first time in years of playing this mission, there is a civilian body next to a health pack in the courtyard. Never noticed that before, and it just makes me think damn, maybe this person was trying to get to the health pack before they died and they couldn't grab it. It's just moments like that that makes the world so tragic, and I know I've been using this word a lot, but tragic is the best descriptor of this scene. It also leads me to my next point. As much as I like to think the Halo community has good media literacy, I also have to remember it's the Halo community, and, well, anyway, the scene in the courtyard is like a big sign saying, "This is what will happen to the civilians if you don't save them in this mission." Obviously, the amount of civilians you save and who you specifically save isn't important in this mission. It's not like Halo Wars where you have to try saving that kid Adam. You don't have to save any characters like that, but at the start of the mission, you see what will happen to the civilians so you, the player, can understand the severity of the situation. It's obvious, probably didn't need to mention it, but thought it would be good to mention it anyway, so cool. Yeah, great. Awesome. Moving on, Exodus is the boots on the ground mission. You're isolated from your team, so you're grounded. Where Alexandria, you're finally in contact with your team and you're elevated to the sky. And it's just, yes! I love when my visual media gives me visual representation of its theme in the story. It's fucking awesome! Sorry, I get a little excited about this. I just miss my Chud video game. Sometimes I read my scripts and I'm just like, who let me write this? So, SparkNotes recap of Exodus: you take down some Covenant forces and make evac sites for Marines to get civilians out of the city of New Alexandria. Some really cool environmental storytelling moments, the triage place for the civilians, the Falcon scene where all the skirmishes are happening throughout the city. I love the moment where the Marine is talking on the radio. We don't see a whole lot of in-game animated moments, at least from the first 3 Halo games, from what I can remember. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, but Reach does this a lot, and it's really cool to see, especially because you're not really doing a whole lot in that moment, so it allows you to just sit there and watch this little like animated moment play out in front of you. Anyway, we finally activate the AA gun and allow the civilians to escape, and this moment is oddly like bittersweet to me. We save a bunch of civilians at that moment. Our actions allow them to escape Reach, but Reach still falls. Millions still die. From the beginning, we know the end. So the small little actions we take may not mean much in the grand scheme of things, but in those moments they mean everything. It's about the journey, not the destination. There's another moment that reminds me of this. It happens in the mission before Exodus in New Alexandria, where we assisted with destroying not just a Covenant cruiser, but a Covenant supercarrier. We may not have pulled the trigger, but we helped load the gun and cock it. And here, our actions helped destroy another Covenant cruiser. In the span of, 3 days, we destroyed a total of like 3 Covenant ships, and in the end, it's still not enough, which just... I love bittersweet stories. I love when my stories have tragic ends but good messages behind it. I just love when there's like moments where like shadows are like cast darker due to the brightness of the light. It's just fucking awesome. It's so cool to see. Anyway, let's talk about New Alexandria. This mission is amazing. It honestly feels like one of those missions that puts you in a false sense of security, and what I mean by that, it shows like the rain, the darkness, and all the gloom of the mission comes from the knowledge that the player and Noble Team both have that Reach is a goner. So there's this sense of hopelessness in the mission, especially with George's death being so recent. What people don't know is that at the end of this mission, Kat unfortunately dies. Her death is not necessarily foreshadowed in this mission, but there is a sense of death looming over the team. Where one domino falls, another will after. So that doom and gloom is viewed by the player as being the death of Reach, but in actuality, it's the death of Kat. I just love this mission so much because of that fact, not because I love the fact that Kat dies, but how different her death is to the rest of Noble Team. George, Emil, Carter, and even June's departure were all pretty telegraphed. Kat's death is the only sudden death. Her death is sudden, raw, and unexpected, but we knew something was coming given the environmental storytelling of this mission. The rain, the more somber tone, death was always coming, we just didn't know for who. I also never noticed until I played Reach when it first came out on MCC a while back. The reason Kat and Six leave their elevator late is because of Kat missing the button because she presses it on the side with her injured eye. Just these small little details that elevate this mission so much more. God, I fucking love subtle storytelling. It's amazing! Sorry, I get a little autistic about Halo. Anyway, I don't know how to end this video. These were probably things people have talked about numerous times throughout the years, and I just wanted to share my piece. So, anyway, bye!